We're gonna go ahead and take the opportunity while we are waiting for the next game of MPL ID Finals to start to check out the Hero Spotlight for the Freya Revamp. And let us have a look at how strong she's going to be.
Hello everyone! Today, we're showcasing our next hero revamp, Freya, the Valkyrie.
Damn, the model looks insane though. Holy shit.
Retain the base cooldown for smoother skill rotations
Well,
and gameplay.
It doesn't look too different from old Freya right now. The model update is insane though, damn.
Sacred orbs now gradually refill when out of combat,
Oh.
in addition to being generated from basic attacks.
Okay.
First skill.
So basically so as we all remember from old Freya, you could only build up these orbs when you hit people with attacks or abilities. So now they will also regen slowly when you're out of combat. So it's a lot easier for Freya to join fights without needing to find somewhere to build up those stacks first. Okay.
Leap of faith.
Leap of
Freya's
faith.
first skill has been adjusted. Freya still leaps to a target location
Alright.
and slams
That's
down
still
with
the
her
same.
shield. But the impact
The effects
now
look better.
knocks enemies within the area airborne, deals physical
Ah.
damage, and grants a shield.
Grants a shield, that's pretty nice. Airborne is huge though. And that's actually a pretty large airborne circle. So once again, a hero that might be able to work with Guinevere. Every single time airborne gets added to a hero, Guinevere smiles.
Second skill, Valkyrie Slash. Freya's
Valkyrie
second skill
Slash is very
optimized
easy to
by having
remember.
its base cooldown removed. With each cast,
No cooldown.
Freya consumes sacred orbs to lunge forward with a powerful slash.
Basically
dealing
no
physical
cooldown,
damage.
wow.
Ultimate. Valkyrie.
They're not gonna show the... Oh, wow, that's interesting. Hold on. They're not gonna show every, like, hit of the skill too? I'm gonna presume that means it's the same, right? I'm hoping that it's the same. We'll have to see it a little later on in the video, but I presume it's still the same, like, attack chain where you skill 2, like, 3 times, and then the 4th time is knock up. This looks like quite something. Okay.
Descent.
Valkyrie
The
Descent.
revamped ultimate now has a movement component. When cast, Freya now dives at a target location with the Valkyrie's might, dealing physical damage and slowing enemies along the way and at the impact zone. Upon landing, Freya enters the Valkyrie state for 12 seconds. In this state, her basic attacks ramp up damage with each hit and heal her and deal splash damage.
Splash damage! Okay, wait, so that's huge. So one of the main things that Freya always had trouble with before this, right, is that she's very sticky, but now that there's a lot of mobility in the game in general, having an like you have to pop your ultimate and then you have to hope that you're still able to stay on top of your opponent to actually auto attack feels very bad, right? Like, I remember back then I would still have to go like flicker on Freya just to like get into position once I pressed my ult just to be able to like actually keep whacking people over and over again. So being able to fly in to where you want to be with the ultimate is already a huge change, not to mention that it's actually like a pretty notable range as well. Like the range is actually quite respectable. It's not super long like some of the other abilities we've seen.
When cast, Freya now dives at
And we can see that it's able to get her across the river, which is, you know, actually that's actually a lot of distance. That's actually a lot more distance than I recalled it. So that will easily allow her to join fights quite quickly. So that's actually very big. That's actually a huge aspect. Being able to slow people in the area also helps. Not very important, but it helps quite a bit in order to let her stay. Splash damage is very nice. I'm pretty sure she had splash damage before, but to have it officially acknowledged probably means that they've added a little bit more attention to that. So that's actually very big. Allows her to deal with AoE. She's not quite a single target as she used to be. And then when you combine that together like with her skill 1, which can knock airborne, it means that Freya genuinely can team fight quite well. It means that now she can actually combo with heroes like Tigreal and Atlas instead of going for just 1v1 dueling. What's the cooldown on her ult?
Valkyrie's might, dealing physical
44 seconds. So that's actually quite long. You can probably reduce that a little bit, but it's still going to be consistently around 40 seconds. Which means that Freya is not going to be able to join fights as frequently as you would like still, unfortunately, because she does rely on her ult quite a bit to actually do things. So that's a bit rough. I will say the cooldown is a bit rough. I feel like that might actually affect her playability quite a bit because there's a lot of heroes that do have similar ults but with lower cooldowns. So I feel like it shouldn't be as long as it is, but who knows? Maybe the numbers make up for it.
To make use of the attack speed bonus and generate more sacred orbs from her passive.
Does she? Wait, hold on. She doesn't have the knockup on. Okay, so the knockup that she had at the end of her skill 2 seems to have been moved to her skill 1. So remember how like you would press her skill 2 a few times and then the last hit of the combo would be a small knockup? It looks like they've taken that away and just made it like empower her next auto attacks. In exchange, they've added the airborne to her skill 1, which honestly makes a lot more sense to me because that means that she can use it on demand. It used to be a bit finicky because you could only get the knockup at the end of your attack chain, but now you can use it to start the fight. And it's a lot easier to engage with because it's combined with a dash as well. So you know what? I like that. I actually do think that's good.
The enemy backline and start dealing splash.
Yeah, okay, so there it was 40 seconds, and this is level 2. So Kai pointed out the CD will probably reduce as she levels up. So level 1 the cooldown was 44. For level 2 the cooldown seems to be 40. So maybe at level 3 it might be somewhere around 36, which is actually a much more manageable CD, especially if you get like some CD items. So okay, maybe that is actually quite okay.
And she can use her second skill to quickly cut across the map,
Ooh.
while stacking her attack speed effect up to 6 times.
So it does grant her mobility as well. So there is just straight up no cooldown on her skill 2 basically. She can spam this as long as she has orbs, and she can get orbs out of combat. So it does allow her to get the lane fairly quickly compared to before because she didn't really have mobility skills. And then you add that on to the fact that she has a dash now as well. Looks to be a little stronger than before. And then rather than just spamming your skill 2 like you used to do, now you alternate skill 2 with auto attack.
Emblem with
Marksman emblem. You know, that makes sense. So here's the big concern, right? Freya falls into the category of auto attack based fighters. Same as like Zilong, same as like Aula, same as like Argus. And we all know that this category of hero just has a really bad time in the meta because as a fighter you typically want to be put in the EXP lane, but then Freya's wasn't that strong early except into particular matchups. I'm kind of surprised we don't see more Freya in the gold lane now that fighter gold lane has become more popular, but it is also true that she's very kiteable currently. She has been given more mobility in general and easier access to her attack chain. I do still think she's more suited to be a fighter gold lane or jungle rather than an EXP laner. Like, she'll be really good against heroes like Terizla, which they showed earlier, because Terizla is very slow, like what Gin mentioned. But in other cases, I do think that she is meant to be like a fighter gold lane or fighter jungle kind of situation. In fact, I think she's most suited for fighter gold lane because while she does farm jungle fast, I don't think she's very good at ganking. I think she's more meant to be like a late game core that comes online rather than like a jungler that like keeps getting kills and has a lot of map pressure, because she would be quite easily ganked by heroes like Khalid or Hilda early on with jungle invades, and she doesn't have the same mobility that heroes like Hayabusa and Lancelot have to get out of those situations. But it all depends on her numbers, because if her base numbers are good enough, she might actually just be able to straight up duel them. That part needs testing. How about Roam, Judah asks? No, definitely not. Because like, yeah, her skill 1 would be good as a roamer, but the rest of her kit, not really. Because she is meant to auto attack. So yeah, you definitely want attack speed. Now that, especially now that her skill 2 has no cooldown. Weapon Master makes sense. Warcry makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure Warcry is just the emblem to use. Alright, let's talk about her build a little bit.
Golden Staff is Freya's core equipment. Its unique passive allows Freya to build sacred orbs more quickly and trigger multiple instances
that answers my question.
During her ultimate, and trigger multiple instances of healing during her ultimate.
Ooh, okay, so that confirms something. So firstly, I was already going to ask, will Golden Staff allow her to basically double her sacred orb build up? Which the narrator confirmed. But they also confirmed another fact. It doubles her healing during her ultimate, because apparently that is considered as an auto attack effect. That is an enhanced auto attack effect. So it is affected by the Golden Staff. So because of that, yes, 100% you need Golden Staff. It lets you build orbs faster, it lets you heal more. Then you pair that up with the Oracle, and then you want Corrosion Scythe to stay sticky on your opponent, Brute Force Breastplate since you are more of a bruiser style, and then Malefic Roar. Yeah, this actually does make a lot of sense. I wondered if she would be good with a crit build, because Freya used to be able to go crit build as well. In fact, I think most of the time people went Freya crit build because her auto attack was already quite fast. But now it does look like you generally want to maximize her auto attack instead. You could probably still go crit, but that would only really be effective against like squishier targets. And then you won't get the additional benefit of like extra healing from the Golden Staff. So this might be just the build to go for, actually. Can you play her like Hilda? How so? Like with Heptases and then full tank? Probably not. I don't think so. Crit could be good for burst if your opposing team is just generally very squishy. Vengeance makes sense since you are just going to be in the thick of things. It's either Vengeance or Flicker. Also Retri if you put her in the jungle. Inspire is if you're really greedy. If you're really greedy and the opposing team just has no crowd control at all, then you can go Inspire. Otherwise, you might want Purify. I think there's a lot of battle spells that Freya can go for, but it's also because the point is, you typically, there's a lot of different battle spells that you can use, it means that there's a lot of things in your kit that could be buffed, you know what I mean? Oh wait, let's see. So you counter backline marksmen, obviously, that makes a lot of sense, like less mobile backline marksmen. You will be destroyed by Mincitar and Phobius because you just dash so much. And then, I guess, yeah, Obsidia can counter you if she ends up hitting you with her ultimate, but if you are able to stick on top of her first and she misses it, then I think she just ends up dying anyway. Best with Gatot and Belleric. I'm pretty sure they're just trying not to put Tigreal and Atlas in every single hero. Oh yeah, Kai also mentioned Petrify might work. Petrify could work, but I don't think it'll maximize things very good. Yes, you can keep people in place for a short while, but I think you'd rather have other things. I guess she's better as a fighter gold laner? Yeah, I think so as well.
Also allows her to counter tanks with low damage, like Uranus.
Oh, actually, would she be a good lane matchup into Uranus?
To CC and movement disabling effects. So
yeah, her skill 2 is just her entire kit is disabled. Every single one of her abilities is a dash of some sort now. Yeah, she can't even ult anymore because her ult has a dash. In the past, at least you could ult and maybe try whacking, but now you can't even do that because your ult has a dash. So this is actually even more of a buff to the Mincitar matchup.
Lanes quickly while using her enhanced basic attack.
It does look like her wave clear is really fast. I can see her as being a really fast farming hero.
Before engaging with her ultimate to maximize damage with
but she does still play as more of a cleanup hero. The thing is like almost any auto attack based fighter is going to play like a cleanup hero, right? Because if you get crowd control, then you're basically effed. The same goes for almost any fighter that wants to stay and auto attack. I don't know if Freya's going to be meta. Like this definitely makes her a lot better to play. And I can see her being used in certain niche matchups when you just so happen to need like a good fighter gold lane that can scale well. But I feel like you're still going to prefer heroes like Ruby gold lane because not only does Ruby do good damage, she sustains and provides crowd control. Freya doesn't have a lot of that. She does have more knockup, she does have easier engage though. So I can see her being a potential pick in the gold lane for very niche like matchups where a lot of the better options are just off the table. But in general, I think that Freya is still going to be more on the niche side. I don't think she's going to be super meta. What I will say is she will probably be very annoying in pubs because like people are going to start playing her in pubs, and we already know Freya is actually pretty strong in pubs because people just don't know how to deal with Freya in pubs. So now that she's stronger, pub Freya is going to be annoying, but pro play Freya probably not going to be seen all that much. Her model update is very nice though. She has a great model update. Like holy shit, she genuinely looks like a Valkyrie. And she actually looks kind of buff as well, right? Which is fairly rare. You know, you don't see that a lot, especially in gacha games. Of course we do have those here. Just look at like Hilda for example. But yeah, I like the visual update. I'm kind of curious what the rest of her skins are going to look like if they're going to update her skins. I like the skill update. I think it enhances what Freya is capable of doing without changing her identity as a hero. But the problem is her identity as a hero keeps her out of pro play because auto attack based fighters are just shafted a lot of the time. But yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good. I think it's actually a pretty balanced update. It makes the hero stronger without making her like fully OP. So I like this. This is good. Good job, Winton. Good stuff. All right, we should be back in the draft, right? Yeah, very nice. Okay, let's jump back into the draft for game number 2.